Anyway, on to our new game, heads
What, you mean
to
all of
heads.
us, Zoo House?
Now, that's a very good point. But our new game, head to heads. So essentially, what we are going to look at, like last time we looked at the three people on, what was it called? It was
Reach, fade, avoid.
Reach, fade, avoid. This time we're going to have a look at the people on the same team and figure out where your value is going to come from. I know we've spoken about this before, for example, Cup and Woods, and we got a split down in the Zoo House team between Bear and Goat, between who's going to be the wide receiver one there. So let's start off with our first duo. From the Seahawks, it's Lockett and Metcalf. Now, I'd love to start on this one. Personally, I'm just going to put it straight out there. I think Lockett is going to win this all day, every day. Metcalf is great, but I don't think he's really going to take away the targets that Lockett has. He's got that relationship with Russell Wilson. I'm really happy that Lockett's even playing this season. Apparently, in 2015, when he got brought onto the NFL, he found out that he had a heart abnormality, so he almost opted out this season due to COVID, but decided to play anyway, move on. So yeah, I just want to hear your thoughts. I'm totally on Lockett, but what do you guys think?
I am on your side as well, Matt. I think that there's a lot of people kind of bashing Lockett and moving him down in ADP, and I don't really understand why. Because if we look at his stats over the last few years, his targets have gone. They were very, very steady at around 70 targets until last year, where he got 110 targets for 82 receptions and over 1,000 yards. And yeah, I think that there is a world where both of them can coexist together and both put up phenomenal numbers, but it doesn't come down to the actual wide receivers head to head. It comes down to whether Russ is going to cook or not. If he can start lighten it up and throw in deep and all that kind of thing, then we can see two great wide receivers here. But if they continue running the ball over and over again with Carson and is it Hyde now?
Hyde, yeah, ground and pound, isn't it?
Yeah, then we're going to see them vulture from each other, sadly.
You know how we call Derek Carr beige? He is the most beige quarterback. Tyler Lockett, for me, is the most beige wide receiver out there. And for that reason, I would much rather take Metcalf. Plus, there's been lots of videos of Russ and DK kind of working out together a lot when they were meant to not be working out, thanks to COVID. And I don't know, sometimes you can get Metcalf pretty late in drafts now, and it's fun sometimes to take a punt on a player where you're going to be sitting there all Sunday evening going, come on, one play is all I need. Let's go. Because you know he's going to pull off a 50-yard touchdown or something at some point.
This is the difference. You're going for excitement, a bit of risk, and a bit of play behind it. Whereas I think you're right with Lockett. You're locking in for a safety. Just look at his catch rate last year was 74.5%. That's the second highest in the NFL behind Michael Thomas. Year before that, 81.4%. I mean, with this sort of stuff.
The goat, for those watching along on YouTube, is so upset by this, he physically removed his headset and put his head in his hand.
I can't listen to this poppycock. It's DK Metcalf all day, every day.
I can't have this. Oh, goat, don't do this to me.
I'm sorry. You might as well now. Lockett's the better route runner, Metcalf's the better in fantasy, no doubt. I
think it comes down to how your team looks, though, because if you've already secured a really safe wide receiver like a Julio Jones, then by all means, I'm more than happy to take a punt on a Metcalf who could have a terrific high ceiling. But if you've gone RB heavy, you need someone who's going to get you the PPR points every week. I'm going to be going Lockett.
Safe doesn't win you ships. Safe does not win you ships. You did that with CJ Anderson. Okay?
Didn't he win a ship?
Yep.
But the trouble is, if you go for a lot of high volatility players, then they can often end up cancelling each other out. You need some safe bets and then some ones that can pop off.
Go big or go home. It sounds like you're going to the safety home. Sounds
right
wrong.
then. To wrap this off, then. First of all, let's just congratulate Seahawks for picking up a fantastic pick, 64th pick. Managed to get Metcalf last season, and who knows, he may even do better than Lockett this season. But personally, I don't believe that's right, even if he is only one position in the ADP behind Lockett. So we are split, I think. We've got Chief and myself down for Lockett and the GOAT, and the Bear for Metcalf. So we shall write these down and figure out who wins at the end of this season. And so now, this is what I want to see. You got Tom Brady moving over to the Buccaneers. Now, we have Evans and Godwin. I want to start with our Buccaneers senior man, the Bear. Please talk me through who you would pick. Once again, I love the fact that they're right behind each other in ADP. Who are you going to take?
I will take Godwin, but it's not because, like many other haters out there, I believe that Tom Brady's arm has gone and he can't support Evans. I will take Godwin because it's been shown time and time again that if Brady wants a check down, he's going to check down, right? Julian Edelman was a PPR monster for as long as Brady was at the Patriots. It's a slightly different system, but we saw Godwin get fed last year and he actually finished higher than Evans. And I don't see any reason for that trend to change. If anything, they're going to be throwing fewer deep balls, so the slot receiver is going to be getting more and more work. I still think Evans is going to be superb. I think both of them will finish as good. Evans probably slightly better than he did last year because we saw what Brady did for that one game that he had Antonio Brown. But I don't see why you would, in PPR, I don't see why you wouldn't take Godwin.
Okay, so I've been looking at the stats on this, and Evans last year managed to get an 1,000 yards season again for the 6th year in a row. That's only been matched by Randy Moss. Yeah. That's only been matched by Randy Moss. So why would you not go with someone who's consistently giving you 1,000+ season?
Fantasy isn't all about talent, unfortunately.
It's about opportunity.
Because
now,
Tom Brady has so much talent, but in fantasy was never that viable.
Yeah.
That one of you, Tom or Chief, will probably feed off of this. The only concern I have with Godwin is Brady's undeniable link with Gronkowski, and quite often your tight end and your slot targets can become interchangeable. So there is a chance that Gronk, if he does go off this year and stays healthy all year, is potentially going to be vulturing targets from Godwin.
Definitely. I mean, we saw the same thing with the Raiders last year. They got so attached to Darren Waller that all of the other wide receivers pretty much became non-existent. You couldn't play a Raiders wide receiver because pretty much all of the targets that were meant anything went to the Walrus, and that I can't imagine that would happen when you have two elite players such as Godwin and Evans as much. But I don't think there will be as much to go around, especially when you don't have Jameis Winston throwing the ball, and they need to come back from behind so much. Brady is a great NFL player. I don't think he's as much of a fantasy points giver.
And Tom, closing out, what do we have, Goat?
Do you know what? I'm going Evans. I think we saw with Randy Moss, the Patriots, previous years, Randy Moss and Brady had their best ever season. I think it was 2011 or 2010. He threw deep. He threw it. Evans is a better player than Godwin. I think Brady is a better quarterback than someone who's considered legally blind and couldn't stop touching people in Ubers. Brady's never done that. He's reporting in good shape. And I really like how he was working out with Evans in the off-season. He's already built up a rapport on a gel. I know he's working with Godwin. But yeah, I'm going to split it and go Mike Evans.
Nice. Like it.
Good. We arrived at no decision. That's pretty standard for us.
We're really helping everyone here. Right. I'm hoping that the next one that I choose is going to be an easier decision for everyone, and that is following to something we touched upon in our mock draft, and it's the Hunt versus the Chubb. Now, Goat, I'm going to go to you as a big Chubb fan. Do you think he's going to be able to retain his position, or is Hunt going to come in for the kill?
I read somewhere that Chubb had the most broken tackles, or maybe the second most broken tackles last year. And don't get me wrong, Hunt's an incredible player. You saw that with the Chiefs. I think he set the rushing record in 2017, I think it was 2017, with 1,300 yards. Stefanski's spoiled for choice. But PPR at the end of the season, I think Chubb will edge it. He's just such a phenomenal talent. He'll get the red zone looks. I think Hunt, yes, if you're talking about safety, you're talking about being that pussy who refuses to go big, go for Hunt. He'll give you a safe PPR floor of maybe 12 points a week, like a James White. I think he's a Cleveland James White. But Chubb, he's the big boy. You'll get the TD looks, and in that offense, it'll create the gaps. Yeah, got to go Chubbly. Respect my boy. That's why he's been drafted in the 2nd and not the 6th.
I'll let our guest go first before I tell you how wrong you are.
I think in terms of if we're looking at quality of player and how it fits into the offense, I would side with Goat in that Chubb is the better player on the offense. However, if we're talking of drafting, I'm going to be walking away with Hunt every day of the week, because in terms of ADP, in terms of value, I would, if I could only pick up one of those two players, I would much rather pick up Hunt in the 6th and have a ceiling shot having an RB1 than picking up Chubb in the 2nd and hoping that he lives up to his floor.
I could not agree with you more. Do I think that Chubb will finish with more points than Hunt? Absolutely. Do I like Chubb at the ADP he's going at? For example, I sat there and I looked at Eckler or Chubb, knowing that neither of them would come back to me next time round. Every time, I'll take Eckler. Would I take Aaron Jones or Chubb? Getting a bit closer, but I take Kenyon Drake, Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders. I take all of those over Nick Chubb. Right? I mean, who went just after Nick Chubb today? We had Le'Veon Bell, James Conner. I'd say he's the bottom end of maybe the tier 2 of running backs, and you're having to reach for him at the end of the 2nd round where there's a lot of wide receiver value on the board. Now you look at Kareem Hunt. I got him halfway through the 6th round, and the big thing about Kareem Hunt is his potential upside. You can't predict injuries, you can't draft for injuries, you can't pick for injuries, right? You can't trade for injuries. If Nick Chubb takes an injury and misses any time, as I said earlier, Kareem Hunt instantly becomes more valuable to me than Nick Chubb was to ever drafted them. And that's just how it goes. So when you can draft a player in the 6th with...
Draft Hunt? Is that what you're saying? Handcuff him? Well, think about it. What you're saying there is you've drafted Chubb and you've covered your own bottom.
Yeah, you could. You could stack it. You could stack it by all means. But for my opportunity cost, let's call it that. That's like a marketing term, business term, isn't it, boys? I don't know.
Economics.
Economics, yeah, there you go. For the opportunity cost, Hunt just is such a better option for me than Chubb. And for that reason, I'll pass on Chubb a hell of a lot, and I will sometimes reach for Kareem Hunt where I need to.
Go on, Matt.
I think the best thing about Hunt, sorry, Matt, just to cut in on
Please
you,
go for it.
is that he is a lottery ticket combined with an Austin Eckler type player. He's going to be lining up as a wide receiver. You're going to be getting the PPR points, but you also have a ticket to the big time, and that combined in a 6th round pick is phenomenal value.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to close it out, I think Matt, you've put it perfectly there. The Godwin, Evans, and the Lockett and Metcalf, they're really falling close in the ADP. So you really do have to pick between one or the other. They're not going to come back around the snake for you. With this, it's a different ball game, and I agree. Out of everyone there, I'm going all the way for wide receiver or over Nick Chubb if it falls down to me in that position. But so I'm also a Kareem Hunt pick there.